The Arab Sugar Daddy and the Beautiful Indian Girl by Dr. A. Ahmed. This is a one-sided love story between a rich old Saudi man and a beautiful poor Indian girl. It was written in English and translated into Arabic by Dr. A. Ahmed. It is a story in 6 books. Book 1. The Arab Sugar Daddy falls in love with a beautiful poor Indian girl. Copyrights. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored in tribal system, or transmitted in any form or by any means without the prior written permission of the author, except by the reviewer, who may quote brief passages from the review for printing in a general magazine, a school journal, or a university article. All characters in this novel are fictitious, and any resemblance to real people, live or dead, is purely coincidental. Chapter 26. Tragedy of the family of Jamal Khan. None of the 4 Muslim suspects who were falsely accused and detained in a sham terrorist plot paid a higher price or had their lives ruined than the handsome lover of the beautiful maid Rehana Khan and his family members. We need to write 12 chapters to narrate the many tragedies that Jamal Khan's sick mother, 3 sisters, and 6 brothers went through in his absence when he was in prison. But to avoid recounting sad and heartbreaking details, we will try to summarize them in 2 or 3 chapters and move as quickly as possible to the longing of the beautiful Muslim widow Rehana and her desire to travel to the country of petrodollar, where she expects to become rich in her work as a maid in the palace of her old sponsor, Sugar Daddy. Rehana's dreams of becoming a filthy rich Indian woman like the Indian girl Christy, and then marrying the handsome lover of her life. Jamal's mother was in a government hospital dying of cancer when he was arrested. She was in the final stages of her life when her son ended up in prison on terrorism charges. 3 weeks later, she breathed her last in a filthy public hospital that housed the poor, the so-called Hindu Dalits, and other riches, called the Harijans or untouchables, or outcasts. Jamal has 3 sisters and 6 brothers. All his siblings are younger than him. Their father died 2 years ago due to his addiction to the illegally manufactured local liquor drink daru. For 7 days, his Muslim wife and 10 children did not leave a hospital or a police station in Bombay City where they searched for his dead body. He died while drunk and was lying lifeless somewhere in a filthy gutter near the shanties of Andheri railway station. Before they could find his dead body, Bombay municipal workers burned his corpse to ashes as if he were a dead Hindu. When his Muslim wife and 10 children objected, they were told that the hospital did not know his religious affiliation, and furthermore, that they could not be expected to keep a body until it decomposed. Of course, such an excuse for burning his body was a lie, because his private parts showed that he was a circumcised man and that only Muslim Indians circumcise their males. But the truth is that the hospital doctors stole money of his organs during the autopsy. These organs were sold to fake doctors for use in secret surgeries or rich sick Indians or a wealthy Arab patient to transplant kidneys or eyes. However, after his sad end, his eldest son Jamal became the sole breadwinner. He had to feed 10 mouses in addition to his own. His 3 sisters worked with their mother as maids in the homes of rich people. But when they reached puberty, their mother began to prevent them one by one from working. She was afraid that these rich, lustful men would rape one of her teenage girls or trick her into giving her a little money and getting her pregnant with an illegitimate child. Jamal Khan is the eldest, followed by his three sisters and then his six brothers. The poor in India do not use condoms or any type of birth control. What is added to the population explosion in India is that the majority of destitute Indians have nothing to do or for enjoyment or entertainment except having sex. After all, it is free and easy to access. Former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's son, Sanjay Gandhi, has come up with a plan to stop rapid population growth. He promised to pay a few thousand rupees to any Indian man who agreed to receive an injection to barely sterilize himself. However, his plan was abused by government officials and police officers who forcefully performed vasectomies to meet quotas and, in some cases, sterilize women as well. Officially, men with two or more children had to undergo sterilization. But many unmarried young men, political dissidents, the ignorant, and the poor were also believed to have been sterilized. As a result, the program was stopped due to numerous cases of violations, catastrophic failure, and the failure to hold those responsible accountable for its incorrect management. After Jamal Khan was arrested, his three sisters were forced to return to work in the homes of rich people to help provide food for themselves and their younger siblings. They are young, 13, 14, and 15 years old. The 14-year-old sister became pregnant by someone in one of the homes where she worked. It is illegal in India for a female to get pregnant at this age, but Jamal's sisters are ignorant of their rights. The 13-year-old sister fell in love with a Hindu, handsome teenage boy who lived near her hut, assumed she also had sex, and became pregnant. When the 15-year-old sister discovered that her two sisters became pregnant without the sanctity of Islamic marriage, she beat them and reprimanded them so severe that the sisters fled. What made them run away was that their elder sister threatened them that she would go to their brother Jamal in prison and tell him about their shameful adultery and their haram and illegitimate pregnancy. In India, like any other third-world country, honor killing is a common practice, especially among Muslim families. The two younger sisters expected that their brother Jamal would either break out of prison and kill them for the sake of cleansing the family's honor, or send someone from the Gundas gang to kill them. The pregnant sisters, known as Tahira and Fatima, also found that they had sullied their names and reputation among their poor Indian neighbors and had effectively destroyed the honor of their Muslim family. No one will respect them anymore, and no Mohammedan family will allow their son to marry a Muslim girl who became pregnant outside the framework of permissible Islamic marriage. They also realized that they were now considered whores and that men and other sexually frustrated thugs would stalk them, for them to have sex with them or gang rape them whenever they ventured out of their hut and into public places for work. After they escaped, the two sisters went to the brothels of the Grand Road neighborhood and joined thousands of other prostitutes on Faris Road. The bimbing lady allowed the sisters to stay in her brothel until they gave birth to their so-called haram children. Then, after giving birth, the evil oppressor strangled the newborns to death and and turned their mothers into eternal prostitutes and buried the dead infants inside her house. Meanwhile, the 15-year-old sister named Nafisa Khan did not know what to do after her sisters Tahir and Fatima escaped from the hut. She went to her brother Jamal in prison and told him what happened to their sisters and the reason for their escape. Jamal cried bitterly when he learned that his two sisters had become pregnant with haram babies and had fled their hut. He blamed his sister for hitting them, scaring them, and causing them to run away from the hut. He blamed her for allowing them to go and work as maids in the homes of rich people. To avoid any further disaster for the family, Jamal asked his 15-year-old sister to stop going to work as a maid servant in the homes of wealthy people. Nafisa told Jamal that they would starve to death if she stopped working. They had no money after he went to prison. Jamal was the sole breadwinner for his big family. This is why, as we know, he had to wait 2 years before he could marry his beloved Rehana Khan and be with her as a husband and wife. He sacrificed his love and was not an obstacle for her to travel to Saudi Arabia that he could also support so that she could also support her large family. He told her that after she returned, when her 2-year work visa expired, he would marry her and perhaps join her in the rich country of the Saudis. Jamal was aware of the problems that his poor family would face from the day he was arrested and thrown behind bars, but he could not do anything to change the course of the unfortunate events that befell them. He put his trust in God to perform a miracle and provide for his family while he was in prison and hopes to be released as soon as possible. However, during his unjust imprisonment, there was no savior for his family, only disaster and destruction. His dying mother died a few weeks after his arrest. His two sisters ran away because they were two minors who had become victims of a corrupt, wealthy, and evil society. They became like many other fallen teenage girls who ended up becoming prostitutes. However, Jamal felt he had to do something, even though he was kept under lock and key behind concrete walls and steel bars. He asked his 15-year-old sister to call his workplace and ask for a loan. His sister called the travel agency and spoke to Mrs. Khan, who is now in charge of the business after her handsome Muhammad Khan was also arrested and detained on false terrorism charges. Mrs. Khan refused to extend any credit to the poor Muslim family of her ex-husband's employee. She told Jamal's sister that the project had stalled and that the agency had a huge loan to pay. Then the unjustly detained employee, Jamal Khan, asked his sister to speak to the employees of Muhammad Khan Tours and Travels Agency and ask them for a donation or a soft loan until he could be released from prison and pay them back. What a pity! None of the employees were willing to donate or lend any money to Jamal's bankrupt family. Finally, when there were no other options available and everywhere they went to save the family members from starvation, the doors were closed in their faces. Brother Jamal allowed his sister Nafisa to sell their shawl hut and move to another slum area, buying another cheaper small hut and live on the rest of the money. It is worth noting again that in the said world, there is no relief program for the needy and the unemployed, such as social welfare in Western countries. Furthermore, there is no such things as abuse of minor children in the workplace at an early age. Even a 5-year-old child is allowed to work and earn a little money to feed his hungry family. Being an underage girl, Jamal's 15-year-old sister Nafisa sold her shawl hat, but was seriously deceived and betrayed by the woman who bought the hat. As we learned from the visit of his beloved Rehana, the buyer of their shawl hat was an obese Hindu woman who was ugly in character and morals. She is that fat woman who met the beautiful Rehana Khan at the door of the hut and told her that no Muslims live with them. But her husband told the visitor that they had bought the hut from the Muslim Khan family. The Hindu wife paid 10 times less than she promised to pay. She deceived Jamal's minor sister and made her sign papers written in English. The 15-year-old Muslim girl sailor did not understand anything of what she signed. When she found out that the Hindu woman had cheated on her, she was afraid to go to the police and file a complaint due to fear of being gang raped by corrupt Hindu policemen. She knew that a young age at a young age, the police would take advantage of her and possibly gang rape her inside the police station. So she accepted the small amount offered by the Hindu buyer and moved with her 6 younger siblings to a very small hut in a slum area. In those overcrowded slums, all the sexually frustrated males and thugs started harassing Jamal's teenage sister because of her attractive beauty and sexy body. She is also a very beautiful girl, like her handsome brother. She is now living in the shadow of the scandal of her 2 pregnant sisters who ran away and became prostitutes in Faris Road. With her travel to a new slum shanty, the scandal of her 2 sisters who had fallen into prostitution and now sold their ties to men in the brothels of Bombay Central. Therefore, the uncultured, backward males and slum dwellers hover over the pretty teenage girl Nafisa Khan day and night like evil spirits that want to possess her and reside inside her body like a haunted house. Every man wants to have sex with her for a little money or rape her because she has no father, big brother, or any other male chaperone to protect her. She started fighting with them and screaming for help whenever some of these crooks and useless men came and tried to break into her poor hut and rape her at night. Her 6 brothers are very young, so none of them can protect her if she is raped in front of them. Meanwhile, Jamal's sister followed her brother's advice and stopped going to rich people's homes. The little money that remained after she bought the new poor shack did not last more than 2 months. When the family ran out of food, she had to send her younger siblings to the streets and local railway station to beg. She managed to get a small job for one of her brothers. It was an unpaid job. He worked in a small tea cave, and the Muslim shop owner only provided him food in exchange for cleaning the place. He refused to give him money. One of the 5 young brothers who was begging in the streets was hit by a speeding car and died instantly. It was a hit-and-run accident, and no one was able to get the license plate number of the offending vehicle. The brother who was working in the cave one day disappeared. No one knew whether he was kidnapped by the Bombay underworld mafia thugs called Gundas or whether he joined them willingly. Jamal's sister was afraid to go out to look for her brother to find out what happened to him. She was also afraid to go to the police because of the possibility of being gang raped by them. She went to her brother in prison and told him what happened to their 2 younger brothers. One of them was killed by a car and the other escaped and most likely joined a Muslim gang. The imprisoned brother Jamal cried bitterly and began hitting his head on the wall of the visiting room until blood flowed from his head and covered his face. His sister started crying and begged him to stop hurting himself. When Jamal continued to hit his head on the concrete wall, two guards came and forcefully pulled him away. Another guard shouted at the sister and chased her away. He told her not to visit her brother again and threatened to throw her behind bars if she returned. Since that day, the sister stopped visiting her brother in prison. Meanwhile, the angry suspect Jamal Khan, who had become strongly suicidal, was placed in a straitjacket due to the high possibility of killing himself. Chapter 27. Putting the final nail in the coffin of the handsome lover. When Jamal Khan came out of prison after 6 months, he found his family in a miserable and completely devastated state. Some of his brothers begged in the streets, and two of his sisters escaped from the Chol Hut and became regular prostitutes in the notorious brothels of Faris Road near Bombay Central. Two of his brothers ran away and joined the Gundas gang of Muslims, and his dying mother died of cancer in a filthy government hospital meant for the poor and the outcast. One of his brothers was killed in a car accident. Only his teenage sister Nafisa Khan and three of his brothers remained in the Newport hut. Whatever happened to his family in his absence, he knew he could not change it. He just wanted it to take care of his only sister left with him and his three remaining brothers. He returned to his workplace, but his evil boss, Mr. Muhammad Khan, who also released from the false charge of terrorism, refused to see him and ordered the janitor to kick him by calling the police on him if he did not leave immediately. Jamal tried to talk to Muhammad Khan again by going to his home in the Juhu area and begging him while on his knees in front of his Muslim family, his Muslim wife, sons and daughters, to give him his job back. The disgruntled boss reminded Jamal of his secret affair with the Muslim widow, Rehana Khan. He said to him, "You have committed a serious crime related to a conflict of interest at work. You took advantage of the trust I placed in you and had a haram sexual relationship with the maid of one of my valuable Arab clients. You stabbed me in the back and made my Arab commercial client, Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, insult me with obscene words and accuse me of deceit in front of my employees. What would have happened if that Muslim widow had become pregnant by you through adultery and we had sent her pregnant with an illegitimate child to her Saudi sponsor? She'll be stoned to death in Saudi Arabia because she became pregnant through adultery without a legitimate Muslim husband. Then all the blame will fall on me if she says that her rapist or the one who committed adultery with her was an employee of Muhammad Khan Tours and Travel Agency." Mr. Muhammad Khan then reminded his former employee Jamal Khan that when he applied for work for him, he signed an employment contract stipulating that he would adhere to certain standards and principles. According to these terms, no employee is allowed to initiate a romantic relationship with a female employee or engage in an intimate sexual relationship with another employee. It is not permissible for any female employee to exploit her position and have an inappropriate love or a sexual relationship with a foreign Arab client or an employee with an Indian female client. Muhammad also told Jamal that by having a secret love affair with the maid of his most important Arab client, the company had incurred huge losses. He even informed him that Two of his employees witnessed him while he was hugging, kissing, and sexually fondling the beautiful Indian maid Rehana Khan at the beachfront in Marine Drive. Muhammad Khan Travels and Tourism Agency has already received a lot of bad publicity after his trial and arrest on terrorism charges, and he has suffered from a lack of trust from many airline agencies to deal with his office anymore. He claimed that because of Jamal's adulterous relationship with the Indian maid Rehana, his Arab client, the wealthy Saudi man Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, dissolved his partnership with the Muhammad Khan Tours and Travel Company. After his former boss, Muhammad Khan, lectured him for a long time, he kicked Jamal Khan out of his house as well and told him that if he came back, he would hand him over to the police. However, Jamal Khan did not give up and kept phoning Muhammad Khan's wife and begged her to convince her husband to take him back. Jamal told the Muslim wife what happened to his poor family, which worships God Allah and His holy messenger, Prophet Muhammad, like them while he was in prison. Although she is a hard-hearted woman and no less evil than her devilish husband, Mrs. Khan is tired of Jamal's constant bleeding and agrees to ask her husband to give him another chance. But she strictly told him not to repeat what he had done before, that is, having a romantic or a sexual relationship with a girl at work or a female customer, and that he should never kiss, hug, or have sex with any employee or a prospective maid servant of the wealthy Arab client again behind her husband's back. The young Muslim man, Jamal, swore by God, the Kaaba of his sacred house in Mecca, the Holy Quran, and his noble messenger Muhammad, while placing his right hand on the book of the Quran, that he would abide by the terms and conditions of the job. When Mrs. Khan promised Jamal that she would talk to her husband about getting his job back, Mr. Muhammad Khan happened to be on a 5-day business trip to New Delhi. So she asked Jamal to come back to the office after a week. Her husband would be back by then, and she said she would convince him to rehire him. Her unfaithful husband was in Bangalore City enjoying fucking the pussy of another man's wife, the adulterous Hindu woman Sanjita Desia. The adulterous husband lied to his Muslim wife and told her that he was going to New Delhi City to meet an important Arab client. Jamal believed Mrs. Khan's promise and waited impatiently for those 7 days to pass. After his release from prison, he spent 5 weeks working various jobs. During those 5 weeks, he worked hard at manual labor or whatever he could find to provide food for his teenage sister and 3 younger brothers. He even worked as a porter or a courier coolie at railway stations carrying heavy bags of passengers' luggage. The money he earned from portering was very little compared to what he earned working at the travel agency. That is why he wants to get his lucrative job back by all means. He wants to send his sister and brothers back to school. He also wants to buy another chole hut in a good neighborhood and provide a better place to live with his family. He knows that the slum huts are not safe for his beautiful teenage sister Nafisa Khan, especially when she starts going back to school. The slum area is full of unemployed people, constant drunks, thugs, and dangerous gundas. While he was away at work during the day, he was always afraid that his little sister would be gang raped by useless and illegal male scum. When Mrs. Khan promised that she would talk to her husband about getting his job back, he had a glimmer of hope that perhaps they could overcome their despair and abject poverty. Every waking moment and in his sleep, Jamal counts the minutes and seconds for his boss's return from a business trip so he can return to his decent, lucrative job. Mr. Muhammad Khan has a bad habit of using his employees to spy on each other and report back actions to him. He even uses his agency's janitor or a guard to spy on his other employees. Meanwhile, Jamal's problem was escalating without his knowledge, and this time it came through the woman who loves him completely. While he's waiting for Muhammad Khan to return to Bombay and return him to his previous job, as we know, his beautiful girlfriend Rehana Khan came to spy on the travel agency looking for him, and after everyone left, she approached the doorman and spoke to him. The doorman knew that Jamal Khan had been fired, so he didn't know why he kept coming to the travel agency. He heard from the female employee that Jamal was fired from work because he had a sexual relationship with an Indian female customer. So when Rehana Khan came to the office that evening and asked about Jamal Khan, he recognized her. It is also a strength to him that this beautiful young Indian woman, because of whom Jamal was fired for having a forbidden love affair with her, also showed up looking for him. As part of his spy duties, the doorman felt it necessary to report the visit of the beautiful young Indian woman to his post when he returned from his business trip. There was another bump in the road ahead, adding to Jamal's problems. While the evil boss at Bangalore City was enjoying his time with another man's wife, thanks to a steady supply of Viagra, another serious problem emerged that was also attributed to Jamal Khan. After being brutally beaten on his genitals during interrogation by the horrific Hindu police detective Shankaracharya, Mr. Muhammad Khan has trouble maintaining an erection without the help of Viagra. It is true that Muhammad Khan's recruitment business suffered a major loss after Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed stopped his business dealings with his agency. Before the false terrorist blood charges, the Saudi Sheikh was sending hundreds of work visas to the recruitment agency. The greedy Muhammad Khan was selling visas to Indians at 10 times the actual amount of those visas. This highly profitable business venture with Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed was at the core of the success of Muhammad Khan Tours and Travel Agency. When their partnership was broken up due to the beautiful maid Rehana not being sent to Jeddah City by Mr. Muhammad Khan, the travel business suffered huge losses. Muhammad Khan struggled to make ends meet. He tried hard to get new Arab clients, but no one would commit to working with him. When nothing worked for him, he came up with a plan to force Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed to deal only with him. He decided to block his ability to do business in Bombay with any other than himself until he came and begged him to accept his visas again. He doesn't want any other agency to benefit from his work. To this end, he is prepared to use intimidation and threats against any travel agency with which his former Saudi client Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed may be tempted to transact. He even decided to take help of the Bombay police and the Muslim Gundas thugs. To successfully carry out his evil plot, Satan's best friend, Sir Muhammad Khan, kept spies everywhere. He even called some staff at the passport office in Worli and Bombay Sahara International Airport. He knew that the wealthy Saudi Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed is fiercely infatuated with the beautiful and sexy Indian maidservant woman who lives in Dharavi slum called Rehana Khan. So he speculated that her wealthy sugar daddy might use another travel agency to find Rehana Khan and fly her back to his country. For this reason, he gave his spies at the passport office and Bombay International Airport the names of the mother Rehana Khan and her daughter Hiffat Khan. He wants to know which Indian agency in Bombay can be used by the lustful old Arab geezer to prepare travel papers for the slum woman and her daughter. For this reason, the villain Muhammad Khan plans to use some dangerous Muslim thugs to prevent the agency from dealing with his former wealthy Arab client. The first report case of espionage came from the passport office. While Muhammad Khan was away in Bangalore, one of his spies at the passport office called his agency and left a message. The informant stated that the beautiful Indian Rehana Khan came accompanied by an employee of the Muhammad Khan Tours and Travels agency and applied for the reissuance of her passport and her daughter's passport. Unfortunately, the informant did not mention the name of the employee who was accompanying Rehana Khan. Immediately after Muhammad Khan returned from his trip, his wife spoke to him and asked him to bring back Jamal Khan as his employee. Somehow, she convinced him to return him on religious and humanitarian grounds. She told him the many tragedies that befell his Muslim family and everything that happened to Jamal's Muslim brothers and sisters while their brother was in prison. Muhammad Khan finally agreed to give Jamal Khan another chance. He told his wife that if Jamal tried to do anything else behind his back, he would not only fire him, but send him to prison forever. When Mr. Muhammad Khan arrived at his office the next day, his janitor told him about the beautiful young Indian woman who came and asked about the fair employee Jamal Khan. At first, Muhammad Khan did not take the spy information seriously because the doorman of his agency did not tell him the name of the young Indian woman who had come to inquire about Jamal. As soon as he entered his office, checked his phone's answering machine, and heard the report of the operation of the other spy in the passport office, he immediately connected the dots. He called his agency's doorman and asked him to quickly come to his office. When he arrived, he asked him to describe the young, beautiful Indian woman who came and asked him about Jamal Khan. The spy described the beautiful woman and added that he had seen her before when she came with her young daughter to the travel agency to obtain her travel papers. He also told his boss that he remembered that Jamal Khan used to go with that woman to help her do some work. Moreover, he said that he saw her several times in Bombay Criminal Court during the trial on false terrorism charges. When the doorman described the slum mate Rehana Khan, Mr. Muhammad Khan almost exploded with anger, boiling and flowing inside him. He concluded that Jamal Khan is still in contact with Rehana Khan and is engaged in the same adulterous love affair with her. He believed that Jamal is helping her and her daughter in reissuing their passports. He noted that Jamal knew all the information related to Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed while working with him at the travel agency. He concluded that the adulterous maidservant Rehana Khan met her adulterous lover Jamal Khan and obtained Sheikh Ahmed's phone number from him. She then spoke to the old Arab man, her sugar daddy, through her translator Jamal Khan, and somehow managed to convince him to reissue new visas and tickets for her and her daughter. When the lustful Saudi sheikh agreed to resend the visas and tickets, she asked her lover, Jamal Khan, to prepare their travel papers. Mr. Muhammad Khan quickly jumped to the conclusion that Jamal Khan was the employee. He went with Rehana Khan to the passport office at Warli and applied to have the passport reissued for her and her daughter. As a result, when the evil boss came to his hasty conclusion, he picked up his phone, called the police, and reported a serious crime that occurred at his travel agency. He told the police that he had already reported the crime long ago, but nothing had been done to the culprit. Due to some legal issues was involved in, he stopped following up to ensure that justice was served. After being released from prison because he's innocent, he decided to follow up on the crime committed by one of his employees against one of his female employees. The next day, when the poor and pathetic Jamal Khan came to see how to get his lucrative job back, he found the police waiting for him at the travel agency. He was arrested, bound with ropes, and detained on very serious charges of rape and robbery. When the suspect Jamal arrived at the interrogation room of the police and was informed of the charges against him, he vehemently denied them. No matter how much he was beaten and tortured by the police, he refused to acknowledge the false allegation. He knew that the future of his sister and brothers in his hands, and for these very strong reasons, he preferred to be beaten to death rather than confess to the false charges and put their lives in danger. Jamal's insistence on not confessing to the charges against him led the police to further investigate the complaint filed by his former boss against him. The first person the police tried to get and question was the employee who was allegedly raped and robbed by Jamal Khan. Unfortunately, when the police found the slum where the beautiful girl Bulbul Sheikh was living while working at the travel agency, they did not find her. The police discovered through her poor family, Muslim family, that she had died 2 months ago. At first, the family refused to reveal the cause of her death. When the police questioned some neighbors, they told them that the cause of her death was suicide. The police then went to the hospital where her body was taken after she committed suicide. The medical report confirmed her death by suicide. The report stated that Bulbul Sheikh was pregnant at the time of her suicide. In India, society expects a rape victim to kill herself. We will not be distracted and elaborate on this serious side issue of the victim's suicide and continue with the issue of Jamal Khan being unjustly arrested. Based on the medical report, the police concluded that Bulbul Sheikh became pregnant by her rapist Jamal Khan. Therefore, the Bombay police found sufficient evidence to convict the suspect Jamal of rape. During the trial, Mr. Muhammad Khan placed his right hand on the Holy Quran and swore to God that Jamal Khan had stolen money from his agency's treasury and that his employee, the victim, Bulbul Sheikh, while crying with hot tears, confessed to him that Jamal had raped her inside the office when the other employees were out for lunch. He spoke as a pathetic liar and a brutal deceiver, and said in court that he truly felt the need to testify and bring justice to this innocent teenage girl who was no longer able to speak for herself, and may her poor, pure soul rest in peace. As events unfolded in court in future, a few months later, the suspect Jamal Khan was tried, found guilty, and sentenced to 14 years in prison with hard labor. Chapter 28. The underage girl who is strong-willed. Jamal's remaining sister of his of his three sisters called the travel agency after her brother did not return to the Port Hut for 5 days. She still had the work phone number her brother gave her while he was in prison. The agency owner, Muhammad Khan, was the one who happened to answer the main line. The teenage sister asked about her brother, and Muhammad Khan told her that her brother had been arrested a few days ago by the Bombay police inside his agency. He added that Jamal was arrested inside his office and taken out as a notorious criminal prisoner. He did not tell her the specific charges. He then lied to her and falsely claimed that her brother Jamal had some money owed to him that the travel agency was supposed to pay him. The unjust man had already learned from his Muslim wife that Jamal only had one sister left, and that his other two teenage sisters had run away from home after becoming pregnant outside of a permissible Islamic marriage due to adultery. It was Jamal who sadly narrated it to Seitan's wife the tragedy of his family that had happened while he was in prison. He told her everything and hid nothing from her. The wife also told her husband that Jamal's remaining sister was only 15 years old, so his criminal mind devised an evil satanic plan. Evil is his middle name. His first name is Satan, and his last name is the devil. When the minor girl called and inquired about her missing brother, he told her to come and collect the money owed to her detained brother in exchange for the wages he earned. When Jamal's sister came, the evil man gave her 2,000 rupees and also offered her a good job in his agency. He pretended to be sad for her poor Muslim family, which lost its only breadwinner, Jamal Khan. The sister isn't qualified to work in his company, but he couldn't deny himself the opportunity to boss a teenage girl. For a notorious womanizer like him, it is like catching a fish in a barrel, and it is hard to leave fresh, feminine meat alone. His tainted conscience will make her give in to his lustful desire with the help of a steady supply of Viagra. As mentioned before, due to the severe beatings he received in his prison, he has difficulty maintaining an erection, and thus his pocket is never without his favorite medication. He knows that the sister is a minor, and therefore he should not hire her. Jamal's sister is 15 years and 6 months old. He convinced her to lie to other employees about her age. In India, girls are allowed to work at the age of 16, but there is no specific minimum age for boys. Jamal's sister is called Nafisa Khan. She's also a very beautiful girl like her handsome brother Jamal. She was very happy to have a job in a place where no one would sexually harass her as she had mistakenly thought. The presence of other female employees who are young, beautiful, and unmarried at the agency reassured her that she was in a safe work environment. Moreover, every female employee, including her boss, is a Muslim or is a Muslima. As advised by her boss, Nafisa did not tell anyone in the office that she was Jamal Khan's sister, and lied about her age and told other female employees that she had just turned 16. Nafisa is afraid to go to prison and meet her detained brother for fear that the police will discover that she is working in a travel agency under the legal age. Moreover, she is afraid that the evil Bombay cops will gang rape her if she says that her brother has been arrested for some serious crimes. It was the evil, it was the devil incarnate Muhammad Khan who said that her brother had been arrested for being involved in serious crimes, but he did not mention to her what those heinous crimes were. After she started working at the agency, her boss called her into his office one day and showed her a local newspaper that referred to the ugly charges against her brother. Nafisa Khan cried hard when she learned that her brother Jamal Khan had been arrested and charged with several serious crimes, including rape and robbery. She was particularly angry when she read about his forced rape that caused an innocent young Muslim teenage girl to become pregnant with an illegitimate child. Nafisa began to despise her brother Jamal when she learned that the girl who was pregnant in rape and haram sex, Bulbul Sheikh, killed herself when she discovered that she had become pregnant by her rapist Jamal Khan. Therefore, Nafisa vowed that she would never visit her evil brother in prison again. The deceitful, satanic boss lied to her and falsely claimed that he decided to hire her because she had three younger Muslim brothers and had no one to take care of them after their older bad brother Jamal went behind bars and would most likely be in prison for a very long time. The unrighteous man of God Allah followed the same evil methods he used on his other female employees. He allowed Nafisa to work for him for a few weeks without harassing her or approaching her in any inappropriate way. During this period, the teenage girl loved her job because she was now earning good money. When he saw that she loved her job and the money she earned by proxy, he decided that now was the right time to carry out the evil of his mind. One day, the underage girl, Nafisa Khan, fell ill and did not come to work. When she came the next day, she brought with her a written medical excuse from a doctor for her absence due to illness. However, the ruthless tyrant began shouting at her and accused her of lying. He understood that this was his good opportunity to intimidate and sexually blackmail her. Then he called her and ordered her to come to his office, closed the door behind her, and began asking her very embarrassing questions. No respectable man would talk to an underage girl in such an inappropriate manner. The evil boss said, "Now tell me, Nafisa, were you really sick or did you decide to take a vacation and go meet your friend and have a good time with him on the beach?" Nafisa replied, "I have no friends here." "How is it possible that you don't have a friend your age? I have a younger brothers to take care of, and I am not interested in having a love relationship with a boy at my age." "It is amazing," the devil boss said, feigning an astonishment at her response. "Every teenage girl in Bombay your age will have a boyfriend. I fell in love with my Muslim wife when she was 15-year-old and married her when she was 18. However, during those 3 years until we were married, we enjoyed each other very much in every loving and intimate ways, at the seaside and in hotel rooms, having sex through using condoms." Nafisa does not like to hear the details of the love story her boss tells her. She thought he wasn't supposed to tell her secret things like that. "By the way," continued the evil boss, "can I ask you a personal question?" Before Nafisa could give him permission, the obnoxious snake continued to brace his agenda and asked her a very embarrassing question. "Did the cause of your illness have anything to do with your menstrual cycle?" Nafisa remained silent and refused to answer this inappropriate question. When her evil boss repeated his question, she answered him with one word, no. By the way, continued the boss, when, when was the last time you had your period? This time the angry underage teenage girl Nafisa refused to answer his question even though he repeated it 3 times. To show his concern for her safety, he got up from his chair and came to her, and she felt his snake-like hand slide over her left shoulder. Then he started massaging her back. She immediately removed his hand from her shoulder and said to him angrily, "Please, sir, don't touch me again." Nafisa understood what her boss intended to do. He doesn't care why she was sick the day before. She stood up without his permission, walked towards the office door and opened it. Then she left his office. She returned to her desk in the female employee's office and sat in her chair. The evil boss picked up his mobile phone and dialed the number on her desk phone. Nafisa picked up the phone, and when she heard it was her boss' voice, she hung up the receiver forcefully. She slammed down the receiver forcefully and hung up. A few minutes later, the doorman came and told her that the boss was asking her to come into his office. Nafisa found it difficult to tell the doorman in the presence of other female employees that she would not be coming. So she stood up and went back to his office. The sexually predatory crocodile gave her 2 options. Either she would allow him to have sex with her inside his office using a condom after all the employees had gone homes, or she would lose her job and leave his office and never return. The strong-willed girl Nafisa Khan turned her back to him without thinking and left his office. She returned to her table, grabbed her handbag, and immediately went out the front door into the street and disappeared among the large crowds of passers-by. Every girl working at the agency understood the reason for the departure of the Muslim girl Nafisa, but none of them objected or tried to stand by her side and confront her evil boss. Nafisa Khan is an exceptionally intelligent and strong-willed Muslim girl. She had some money she obtained during her few weeks of work at Muhammad Khan Travel Tourism Agency, and she saved most of her money. She did not behave like other female employees who wasted their money having beautiful clothes and going out in the evenings to beach and cinemas to have fun with their boyfriends. When her brother went to prison the first time, her family suffered greatly, which promoted her to allow one of her 2 sisters to work as a maid outside their shawl hut in the homes of the rich. One of the rich evil men took advantage of her young sister, raped her, and impregnated her. Nafisa was also forced to send her brothers to the streets to beg for a few rupees to feed the family, but one of them was killed by a car in the street, and 2 escaped and joined the gangs. When her brother Jamal went to prison for the second time on charges of false rape and robbery, she was lucky to get a job with his former employer, Muhammad Khan. He decided to work hard and save money for a rainy day or an unexpected expense. After losing her job, when she walked away from a very difficult situation where she had to choose between her honor or her job, the brave girl spent 1 month looking for another job. She could not get the same job by working in a travel agency, but she found a job as a saleswoman in a large as a sales girl in a large mall on Causeway Street in Kulaba and continued to tell lies about her age. In her new job, she is paid less than she was paid at the Muhammad Khan Tours and Travels Agency. However, the money she earns is enough to feed her and her three siblings. Nafisa continued to work while her three brothers went to school. She bought another large chol hut in a good neighborhood and moved in with her three brothers. Looking ahead to the life of the strong-willed, courageous, and exceptionally good-mannered teenage girl, Nafis Sahan remained single and unmarried until her three brothers finished school and began working. She did not bother to fall in love with any Indian boy, whether handsome or wealthy. She sacrificed her emotional and entertainment life for the sake of her brother's future. She shared the same spirit of sacrifice with her brother Jamal Khan. Everything that the Honorable girl Nafisa Khan did for her family was selfless, except for one fatal mistake on her part. She believed her evil boss Muhammad Khan's lie about love and trust for her brother, whom he falsely and slanderously accused of rape and theft. But Jamal Khan always took care of his family the best way he could while he was working. When she read in the local newspaper that the teenage Muslim girl Bulbul Sheikh had been raped, impregnated by her rapist Jamal Khan, and then killed herself, Nafisa Khan sought the borders of her brother and swore to God, blessing her right hand on the book of the Holy Quran, never to speak to him again or to see his face. Naturally, the story of her evil boss about the ugly crimes of rape and robbery allegedly committed by her brother Jamal seemed convincing because the local newspaper confirmed this false allegation when it presented his pictures and the picture of his innocent victim, Bulbul Sheikh, and wrote an article in which it described the merits of the crime, the trial, and the pronouncement of the sentence of 14 years with hard labor. Her three brothers remaining with her are known by the names Saifuddin, Salman, and Irfan Khan. When they finished their studies, grew up, and started working, they bought a big house with 4 bedrooms in a good area in Andheri and treated their brave, honorable, and chaste sister Nafisa Khan as their godmother or holy mother who raised them as her own children. Chapter 29. Suicidal deaths of the rape victim. If Rehana had known that her secret visit to the Muhammad Khan Tours and Tourism Travel Agency would cost her lover his freedom and put him behind bars for 15 years, she would never have gone there. If she had known that applying for passports, for both passports, would have she and her daughter would have sent her handsome lover to prison as a vicious criminal, she would never have applied for them. If she had predicted that her desire to travel to rich Arab country would separate her from her handsome lover for many years, she would not have wanted to travel outside her country, even for a second. If she had expected what awaited her and her young daughter in that rich Arab country where the house of God is, Rehana would not have wanted it to go there at all. But before we move forward to further trace the events of her desire to travel to the rich Arab country to work in the palace of the wealthy old man sugar daddy Sheikh Ahmed, we must try to answer the outstanding question that everyone wants to know the answer to. Why did the beautiful girl Bulbul Sheikh commit suicide? Because of crime she did not commit. We have heard that society in India expects a rape victim to kill herself, but not every girl who becomes pregnant through rape follows this evil custom, which is similar to the Hindu practice of sati, which requires a widow to burn her body along with her husband's dead body, as if she was the one who killed him. It is unfortunate that the beautiful, innocent girl Bulbul Sheikh killed herself by burning her body as if she were a Hindu widow. The only difference is that she did not burn the body of her evil rapist, Satan Muhammad Khan. Is her. Every person driven by righteous anger, every person driven by righteous wrath might wish that she would have come and shoot him to death in his office in front of his other rape victims before killing herself. As we know, the actual culprit, a rapist, is not the innocent boy Jamal Khan. He is the person who nailed Jamal for the false crime of rape, testified against him in court, and the judge sentenced him to life imprisonment. The evil genius had never raped his victim without using a condom, except with the late beautiful girl Bulbul Sheikh. He knew that without a condom, his victim might become pregnant, and the court would prove through DNA test that he was the biological father of the illegitimate child. But on that fateful day, he happened to lose his mind because he drank a lot of alcohol inside his office because of the dirty insults he received from the old Arab man, Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, who accused him of not sending his beautiful maid servant Rehana Khan, and instead he sent him an old Indian woman. So the evil boss forgot to use a condom when he forced his beautiful employee Bulbul Sheikh about having to choose between having sex with him as a volunteer or losing her job. As we know, the desperate girl chose to destroy her honor and allowed him to rape her and steal her virginity in order to prevent her poor family from starving to death. But she never expected that this small moral mistake would cost her poor family dearly and her life as well. When her rapist is arrested and thrown behind bars for an alleged terrorist plot, his evil wife fired her from work. It was her sister, the ugly employee Jamila, who told her that she had caught her unfaithful husband red-handed with the beautiful girl Bulbula while the two were lying naked on the office floor and having haram sex like two animals. But we know that this report is half false and half true. However, after she was fired from her job, the beautiful Bulbula's life turned into a living hell. She never expected to be fired from her lucrative job after the high price she paid to keep it. After that, she was unable to find any work to support her poor family. Her main problem is that she cannot speak English and does not know how to read or write in Hindi. These are the two main languages required to get an office job in Maharashtra state. The Muslim girl Bulbul Sheikh had finished the ninth grade by studying in Urdu language. Urdu is an Aryan language spoken mainly in South Asia. It is the official national language of Pakistan. It is spoken jointly by Muslims of Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. It is a mixture of Arabic, Persian, and Indian languages, and it is speakers use the Arabic alphabet to write it down. Bulbula knew that she was not qualified to work at Muhammad Khan Tours and Travel Agency, but her manager hired her because of her amazing beauty and sexy body. While working there, she did nothing because all the office work was done by other girls who could read and write in English and Hindi. For this reason, she knew very well that if she refused her post sexual demand to entertain him, she would be fired and go back to working as a maid in the homes of rich people. Without her mother to work for her, to work with her and protect her, her rich, lustful employers will force her to choose between having sex with them or losing her job. So instead of being a woman to many men, she chose to be the secret concubine of her boss Muhammad Khan. Unfortunately, when she was cast out by the wife of the incarnate devil while throwing him into bottomless pit, the beautiful Bulbula returned to working as a maid in the homes of the wealthy Indians. But before that, she had already realized that she had been impregnated by her boss. She even informed Mr. Muhammad Khan that she was pregnant by him. The evil man told her before he went to jail not to worry about her pregnancy and promised to take her to a Muslim female doctor and bribe her to help her abort the illegitimate fetus. Meanwhile, he continued to rape her without using a condom because he knew she was already pregnant. He delayed her abortion because he wanted to enjoy her sexy body for as long as possible without using a condom. He also did not expect to be caught in the alleged suicide terrorist plot, as she expected it would happen to her. The beautiful Bulbul was turned into an unpaid sex slave by Hindu male employers when she went to work with them. But what bothered her most was her illegal pregnancy. She was afraid to go to the hospital and ask for an abortion. She was a 15-year-old girl and is illegal in India for a man like her to get pregnant. She wasn't even supposed to be employed by the devil's first-born son due to her young age. He broke the age limit and hired her for sexual entertainment, as he later did with Jamal's sister Nafisa, the strong-willed girl with good morals. As we know, the very brave and moral girl Nafisa Khan gave him her middle finger and walked away from his agency when he tried to sexually blackmail her. She refused to compromise her virtue and let him steal her virginity and accepted the option of losing her lucrative job. The beautiful girl Bulbula Sheikh searched in confusion for many ways to get rid of her illegitimate pregnancy, but she failed. She even drank some toxic detergent and almost died. She expected that the toxic substance would help her abort the unwanted child. Her family screamed and called their neighbors when they found her lying half dead in their hut. Her neighbors and family took her to the hospital and her life was saved. The hospital doctor forced her unconscious body to regurgitate the deadly detergent, but the doctor did not know that the patient had done this intentionally. Bulbula wrote in her discharge papers from the hospital that she drank it by mistake at night, thinking it was milk. 2 months after the serious kitchen accident that nearly claimed her life, her big belly due to pregnancy appeared, and all the Muslim men and women around her knew that she had committed adultery and become pregnant with an illegitimate child without a permissible Islamic halal marriage. Most of her neighbors are Muslim, and for them, this is the biggest sin an unmarried Muslim girl of her age can do. They collectively believe she was selling her thighs for money to the wealthy men she was working for as a maid. Her attempt to get rid of the ill-gotten child by drinking toxic detergent was considered by her Muslim neighbors to be a deliberate suicide attempt on her part. Another serious problem that the beautiful girl Bulbula faced and could not accept easily was the loss of her Muslim lover. Her Indian lover was her cousin and also handsome. She loved him more than she loved herself. She even got engaged to him when she was 12 years old. He was still a school student, and his parents said they would not allow him to marry his beautiful cousin, Bulbul Sheikh, as soon as he was still a school boy, and his parents said they would allow him to marry his beautiful cousin, Bulbul Sheikh, as soon as he finished grade 12 and started working at a lucrative job. Unfortunately, when his parents heard about the scandal of his fiance's illegitimate pregnancy, they forced him to break off the engagement. At first, the boyfriend did not want to break off his engagement to his beautiful lover because he loved her with all his being. He even refused to believe that his well-behaved fiancée would do this heinous act of committing adultery with another man. But his family challenged him and forced him to take his fiancée, who was accused of adultery, to a Muslim female doctor and conduct a pregnancy test using urine and blood tests on his Muslim friend's body. But the beloved Bulbula, who became pregnant through voluntary rape with her evil pause, refused to go with him to the doctor and undergo an examination. What a regret! Her rejection forced him to break off the engagement and also break up his love affair with her. Immediately, his Muslim family found another beautiful looking Muslim girl and engaged her to their so-called good Muslim boy. The engaged couple quickly got married, and a large Islamic wedding ceremony was held for them, attended by everyone except his ex-lover Bulbula and her family. This was too much and difficult to bear for his ex-fiancée. Not only did she lose the love of her life and become pregnant with an illegitimate child, but she was also turned into a whore at the hands of her wealthy, lustful employers. Some wealthy women expelled her from her job as a maid in their homes when they discovered that she was pregnant with an illegitimate child outside the sanctity of Islamic halal marriage. Some of them beat her and kicked her out when they caught her having sex with their unfaithful husbands on their beds. When she was 6 months pregnant and no longer able to hide her large belly, the rape victim Bulbula found herself standing at a crossroads. She had to either run away from home and become a prostitute in one of the thousands of protests in Bombay, as Jamal's two sisters did, or flee to another city, or kill herself. She knew and understood that she would not be able to live where she resided. When an illegitimate child was born, in the Muslim-dominated town of Mumbura. Every Muslim policeman will force her to have sex with him when he learns that she is a whore and gave birth to a child unlawfully without the bond of halal Islamic marriage. Even her male neighbors, other Muslims and thugs would rape her inside her hut or sometimes in broad daylight. She knew that her own mother would not be able to protect her when these thugs came to rape her at night. Bulbul was an orphan girl who had already lost her father. If her Muslim father were still alive, he would not hesitate for a single second to slaughter her, just as he slaughters a goat when he learns that she is pregnant with an illegitimate child without the prohibition of permissible Islamic marriage. Her sick-old mother might also burn her daughter's body, which was become defiled by scandal and disgrace. But because she is so old and sick, she knows that there will be no one left to feed the family if she kills her daughter. It was her daughter who found a high-paying job and spent a lot of money treating her and paying for her medications while she was dying in a government hospital for the poor. The employee Bulbula was earning 10 times what she now earns as a maid for the rich. In her previous job at Muhammad Khan Tourism and Travel Company, she received a monthly salary of 3,000 rupees, but today she does not earn more than 300 rupees from her work as a maid from sunrise to sunset. To keep her high-paying job, she allowed an evil drunk like the devil Muhammad Khan to climb on top of her immaculate body, brutally rape her on his office floor, steal her virginity, and make her pregnant with an illegitimate child. After he went to prison, she became a victim of his brutal rape, experiencing the harshest social and religious persecutions that a young woman of her age could be exposed to. By then, she had already started being harassed by Muslim males as she walked in the streets. And they used to call her, "You are a tawaif girl," which in Urdu means a dirty prostitute. Other Muslim neighbors prevented their daughters from speaking to her or communicating with her. Some of her Muslim neighbors and Muslim relatives confronted her about her shameful adultery and illegal pregnancy, kicking her out of their huts and telling her never to approach their sacred dwellings again. Many times, some bad Muslim children, instigated by their parents, threw stones, tomatoes, rotten potatoes, and spoiled eggs at her as she walked through the narrow lanes of those crowded huts. One Sunday evening, while she was returning from her slave-like work in the homes of the rich, she was attacked by older Muslim boys. These boys decided to rape her between the dark alleys and dirty gutters of their shacks. They grabbed her from behind and started tearing off her black veil or a burqa like rabid dogs tearing the flesh of a helpless cat. Then they beat her mercilessly, forced her to her knees, and jumped on top of her body. When the pregnant girl got over the shock and panic, she started screaming at the top of her lungs. Some elderly people and many Muslim women heard her screaming for help, so they came out of their huts and shouted at these rapist boys, chased them away, and saved her from the imminent gang rape. On that day, although she was rescued, some of her rescuers warned her that if she approached their huts again and was attacked and attempted to rape again, none of them would come to her aid, even if 1,000 men raped her. Therefore, the pregnant girl realized with confusion that she would not be able to leave her hut with her light belly on her own without being raped in the broad daylight. Because of this, she understood that she had to choose between suicide or running away from home and living a life of bare-minimum prostitution. But she also realized that she would not be able to run away and leave her old sick mother and younger siblings to starve, die, and rot like bread inside their hut. Therefore, she found herself forced to choose one of the two horns of the fierce dilemma. She has no other said alternative. In the end, when all doors were closed in her face and she became worse than a religiously and socially rejected Muslim young woman or an outcast Hindu girl, the rape victim, Bulbula Sheikh, bore it caressing on her holy body and set her innocent soul on fire. It was in the middle of the night when the pregnant Muslim teenage girl, Bulbula Sheikh, committed suicide. The fire not only burned her pure body, but also burned her small heart. Unfortunately, her mother and siblings managed to escape alive, but lost their shelter and became temporarily homeless. The innocent girl survived the suicide for a few hours in the hospital before she took her last breath and handed over her sacred soul to her creator in a dirty health facility in the Muslim majority town of Mumbura. The fire left her with 90% burns while she was in pain and wishing to die in the hospital immediately. Later, a male relative working in Abu Dhabi sent a few thousand rupees to the homeless mother of the suicidal girl and helped her rebuild her burned hut. But before that, some of the brothers and sisters of the victim of rape, the late Bulbula Sheikh, became homeless and beggars on the streets, and some of them joined the gang of Islamic Zaks, the Gundas. These Zaks turned two of her younger sisters into minor prostitutes even before they reached puberty. The sick mother died a few months after her eldest daughter Bulbula killed herself and burned her fetus in her womb along with her. But as we know, the blame for her horrific suicide death fell on the head of the handsome, innocent boy Jamal Khan. The rape victim horribly killed herself while her rapist, the evil man Muhammad Khan, walked out of prison and returned to his tourism and travel agency as if he had done nothing wrong. He was treated as a great Muslim hero and a living martyr by other Muslims when the Bombay Criminal Court declared him not guilty of the bogus terrorist plot. His other victim, Jamal Khan, was later convicted as a rapist and a robber and sentenced to 14 years with hard labor. Chapter 30. She creates her personal underground bank. When the beautiful Indian Layla, known as the maid Rehana Khan, met the so-called black Negro boy Babikar al-Awar 2 days later in the restaurant, he brought her some good news. He informed her that her all-Arab sponsored sugar daddy, Sheikh Faiz Bani Ahmed, has sent the 2 visas and 2 travel tickets to his address. He also added that their passport would soon be mailed to the address of her cousin, who lives in a shack in a slum area near the western suburb of Lokanwala, Chol and Deri. Her cousin Jamal Khan's address reminded her that their passports might go to the wrong address and reach other people namely the obese Hindu woman and her tall, thin Indian husband. She expected that the Hindu family that bought her lover's family's heart would destroy the two passports if they saw that they were addressed to Muslim people. To avoid such a disastrous ending, she told Babikir that she learned that her beloved cousin had recently died of the coronavirus and that his widowed wife had sold the hut to a Hindu family and moved to another poor area. The Sudanese student became angry with her when she told him this news, and she did not take it upon herself to go to the passport office at Warli and give them a new valid address. The Indian maid Rehana told him that she did not have any other address because she lived in a poor hut in Dharavi that had no address. The foreign student Babikir has been living in India for a long time, but he had never heard in his life that a citizen of a country could be without an address. In his country, even farm animals and domestic animals such as dogs, cows, donkeys, and horses have addresses. However, after Babikir got over the shock, he gave Rehana his new address and asked her to go and deliver it to the passport office before they send their passport to the wrong address. After being fired from work by the wife of the imprisoned Lucifer Muhammad Khan, Muhammad Seitan Khan, the African boy Babikir was also expelled from his hostel for foreign students because he could not pay his university boarding fees. Then he went to some old Sudanese friends in the Vakula area and began living with them in their apartment without paying his share of the rent. Rehana asked Babikir to go with her to the passport office at Wadley, but he apologized and said that he could not go with her this time because he had to study in preparation for his final exams. He told her that he wouldn't be able to go anywhere for a week because final exams were coming up. He then told her that she could go alone to the passport office and talk to the same employee whom he had previously bribed and paid 1,000 rupees to change her address. Rehana would rather wait a year to get her and her daughter's passports than give someone a huge amount of money as much as 1,000 rupees. With 1,000 rupees, she can feed her 6 children and her elderly mother for 6 months. She earns just 300 rupees a month working as a slave for several rich families from sunrise to sunset, 7 days a week. She even works during public holidays. In India, some poor people can survive for many years on dal and rice, lentils and rice. Dal and rice are the stable daily diet of the majority of people in the Indian subcontinent. Since the day the Sudanese foreign student Babikir gave the Indian maid server Rehan her share of the money, her benefactor had generously sent her the sugar daddy. She has not spent more than 100 rupees out of the 10,000 rupees she received. She is very grateful and believes that there must be a lot of money on the streets of Saudi Arabia and that this is just a drop in the bucket. Soon she will be able to collect all the foreign currencies and snatch them from the streets of the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and all her suffering, misery, and fear for her needy family will disappear. Since she had never received such a huge amount of money in her entire life, Rehana made sure to protect it with her 10 fingers and sharp teeth and spend it wisely rather than losing it all at once. On the same day, she received the money from same day. She went to the restroom of the restaurant after Babikir handed her the money. Then she took off all her clothes, including her swimsuit-like underwear and her bra, and became completely naked just as her mother had given birth to her. Then she tore a long piece of fabric from her Indian sari and made something like a belt out of it, but not a suicidal belt with an explosive device, as she was wrongly accused of being a Muslim suicide bomber who was supposed to blow up an Air Indian plane on its flight midway between Bombay and Jeddah. She then tied up the Indian currency notes, a rabbit, the money belt around her genitals, between her hairy pussy and naked big buttocks, as if it were an adult diaper. Then she put on her small swim-like underwear over it, put on her other clothes, and left the restaurant rest room. She did not change her underwear or take off her outer clothing for 2 days, except when she needed to go to the public toilet to urinate and defecate. As mentioned earlier, she does not have a toilet inside her small hut and has to go to the public slums toilet. She's afraid that someone will see through her underwear and find out that she has a secret treasure rabbit around her hairy pussy and big ass and kill her for thousands of rupees. Rihanna is also afraid to go to the bank because the banking department might accuse her of stealing 10,000 rupees from one of her wealthy employers. Then the bank manager will call in some evil Hindu police officer to arrest her and then go rape her inside the interrogation room like they did to her before. In addition, she has no address to give to the bank. She had never saved more than 400 rupees from all her hard work serving the rich and naively believed that this amount would buy her a work visa and a plane ticket to a rich Arab country. That day, one of her compatriots mocked her and told her that 400 rupees could not take her in a taxi to Bombay International Airport. Incidentally, the cheapest labor rate in the world is in India. There is no such thing as minimum wage in this country, where the majority of its citizens live below the poverty line. When the beautiful and sexy maid Rihanna Khan got tired of hiding her treasure around her genitals under her swimsuit-like underwear between her hairy pussy and her big ass, she decided to start her own bank. On the third night, while her mother, her 6 children, and all her slum neighbors were asleep, she woke up like a thief in the middle of the night, took her cooking knife, and dug a hole in one corner of her little hut. It was the same knife her husband used to stab his heart and kill himself. Then she removed the money belt carefully hidden in her private parts and buried it in the hole like a cat burying its feces. Whenever she needed some money, she would wake up in the middle of the night, open her underground bank, and take out the rupees she needed. When she went to change her address at the passport office from Jamal's address to Babikir's address the next morning, Rihanna Khan had only 100 rupees in her pocket. When the passport officer started creating problems for her by asking unnecessary questions, she gave him 20 rupees and he immediately changed her address while she was still standing in front of him. Her cousin Jamal's address was crossed out and Babikir's address was written down. After feeling satisfied with what the money could buy, she left the passport office to return to her poor hut. She did not have to buy a train ticket because she was a slum dweller, and by order of the Indian government, they were exempted from paying train tickets or bus fares, so they could ride and travel for free. The beautiful girlfriend Rehana Khan did not buy a local train ticket even during the 3 weeks she spent with her missing handsome lover Jamal Khan, who remained behind lock and key without her knowledge. She always rode in the crowded ladies' cabin and traveled wherever she wanted to go. Thank God, women in Bombay are allowed two separate sections in local trains. If a beautiful young woman like Rehana Khan dared to enter the men's compartment of a local train, she would be grabbed by hundreds of sexually frustrated men and gangraped in broad daylight in front of everyone inside the jam bucket carried. Women in Bombay often suffer sexual harassment as well while traveling on local bus routes because there are no designated section just for them. In some other major cities in India, such as New Delhi, Madras, and Calcutta, local transport buses often offer reserved seats for the benefit of women travelers. Women travel by local train, although they are allowed to travel in any of the 10 sections of the men's section. Men are not allowed to enter either of the two women's compartments. On the other hand, there are people in Bombay who are neither males nor females. They are called number 6. I have no idea what this number stands for. They are also neither gays nor lesbian. These citizens of both sexes are allowed to travel in local trains compartments designated for women as they do not pose any threat to female passengers. They live by begging because no one will give them jobs. If they come and ask you for money as charity or alms, and you refuse to give them anything, they will curse you in your face. Many people in India believe that their curses will come true. If you give them money, they will bless you. Muhammad Khan was also informed by one of his spies of the second visit of the maid Rehana Khan to the passport office. The information revealed that Rehana Khan changed the address of her hut, which was previously the address of Jamal Khan's Chol hut. The spy even provided the new address to the Satan incarnate. When he carefully wrote the new address, Muhammad Khan was astonished. Surprisingly, it is not the address of a hut or a chol, but an apartment in the Vakul area. Initially, Muhammad Khan thought the wealthy sugar daddy, Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, had moved the lovely maid Rehana Khan from her slum in Dharavi to an apartment in Vakula. He decided to send someone to find out who lived in the apartment building. Then Muhammad Khan sent his concierge, the doorman, and asked him to go and ask the neighbors about the person staying in that address. When the messenger returned, he brought with him information that was truly confusing. The evil boss couldn't get clear picture in his head. The concierge who was sent by him said that he learned from the neighbors that 5 foreign students living in the apartment that was under investigation. The information did not reveal their names, nationalities, enrollment, university, faculties, or a field of study. It was also not possible to confirm the nature of their daily activities. They are all males, and there is not a single female among them. Therefore, Muhammad Khan contacted some Muslims of Gundas of Vakula and asked them to provide him with more detailed information about the foreign students living in that apartment. Shortly after, these Zaks brought the devil's advocate Muhammad Khan the names, nationalities, and colleges of the 5 foreign students. The avenger, an evil warlock, immediately cleared up the mind-boggling mystery, and suddenly everything started making sense to him. Sheikh Faiz Bani Ahmad is still in the picture and is using the dreaded black Negro slave Babikir Hussein Osama and not Jamal Khan to prepare travel papers for the Kulaba prostitute and slum maid Rehana Khan. His evil mind worked quickly and hatched a, a devious plot to stop this collaboration in its tracks. He thought of 3 ways to prevent the Indian maidservant, the so-called Kulaba prostitute Rehana Khan, from traveling to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and to punish the Sudanese foreign student, the so-called accursed black Negro slave Babikir al-Awar, who helps her fly to her Arab-sponsored sugar daddy, the wealthy Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed. The devil incarnate Muhammad Khan planned to create a problem for her at the passport office and the international airport and carry out this malicious plot by accusing the Sudanese foreign student Babikir al-Awar of some illegal activities which could lead him being sent behind bars and in prison forever and preventing the exit of the beautiful and sexy maid Rehana Khan at the Bombay International Airport. However, the apartment where Babikir now lives is rented by four Sudanese students. The 4 Sudanese students and the countrymen allowed Babikir to stay with them for humanitarian reasons and because he is a Sudanese foreign student like them. Babikir was unable to participate in paying the rent for the apartment because he had no source of income. So his countrymen allowed him to stay with them for free for charitable reasons. After the wife of his former boss kicked him out of the agency, he became destitute again. Babikir is another spendthrift employee and is not a wise person like the strong-willed girl Nafisa Khan. Whatever money he earned while working at the travel agency, he spent it on his selfish Indian girlfriend who was not beautiful at all, Jamila, ugly and vile girl. So soon after losing his job, he began to depend on the kindness of his Sudanese friends again. All 5 of these Sudanese students have girlfriends. One of the boys has a Kenyan girlfriend, another has a Ethiopian miss, another is a Pakistani girl, another is a young woman from South Sudan, and the 5th one has an ugly Indian girlfriend whom he loves, but she does not love him. The last girlfriend is the ugly Indian girl Jamila Malik, who is the sister-in-law of Lucifer Muhammad Satan Khan. By the way, the ugly girl Jamila did not break off her relationship with the so-called accursed black Negro, the Sudanese student Babikir al-Awar, after he was expelled from the Muhammad Khan Travel and Tourism Agency. For a time, she avoided talking to the so-called ugly, one-eyed black Negro whenever she saw him. However, one day he stopped her and told her something which promoted her to agree to meet him again. She meets him the next day after work and agrees to what amounts to a last-ditch effort to propose marriage to a reckless love puppy. Babikir told her that after 6 months he would go to Saudi Arabia to work as an English Arabic translator for the wealthy business tycoon Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed. He showed her a letter he had received from his future sponsor, proving that the lucrative job offer was real. It is one of the deals that the all Arab man Sugar Daddy made with the Sudanese student Babikar Awal when he asked him to find his beautiful Indian maid Rehana Khan at any cost and return her to where she belongs with him in one of his three palaces in the kingdom of Tartaros, Saudi Arabia. For those who are not familiar with the Holy Bible, Tartarus is the name of hell. When the black African foreign student Babikar al-Awar told his ugly Indian friend that he would work as a translator in the rich Saudi Arabian country with the wealthy business tycoon Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, being a selfish girl, Jamila agreed to marry him, albeit with some necessary conditions. Babikir must arrive there first, then return after a year, marry her, and take her to that Arab paradise, which is the promised land for every Indian man and an Indian woman, the land that overflows with money and honey. Some Indians sold their homes and body parts to get enough money to buy entry visas to take them to dollar-rich Arab countries or emigrate to Canada or Australia. This miraculous concern of an Indian girl to a black African boy made the Sudanese lover, the crazy one-eyed Babikir, feel extremely happy when he heard that the ugly Indian Jamila had finally accepted that he would be considered a human being like her, who had the same dignity, and that she would marry him as her future Muslim husband. This type of beneficial marital union is common in India. Many foreign students marry Indian girls in a kind of how will I benefit and how will my family benefit from this type of socially and ethnically unacceptable marriage. There was a case in New Delhi of a black Sudanese student who was in love with a white Indian girl. The lover is a foreign student studying at the University of Delhi, and his Indian lover is a nurse in a large hospital in the capital of India. Her family initially rejected his proposal to marry their daughter because to them he was just a cold black Negro. However, after learning of his refugee status and that he would soon be sent for resettlement to Vancouver City in Canada and given an immigrant visa, they agreed to the marriage. However, behind his back, they convinced their daughter to marry him on one condition. The Sudanese boy did not know the secret agreement between his girlfriend and her parents until he married her and took her as his bride to Canada. A month later, a month after their arrival in the promised land, the Indian wife moved out of his apartment, found a job, and rented her apartment. She then began applying for immigration papers for her parents to bring them to live with her. Her Sudanese husband could not do anything for her. This was worse than what happened with the marriage between Sugar Daddy, the rich old Arab Sheikh Ahmed, and the beautiful Christian wife Christy. This is a problem for which the Canadian immigration authorities have not found a solution. In another case, an Indian bride separated from her Sudanese groom at the international airport in an American city upon their arrival to the promised land full of money, and went directly to her Indian lover's apartment in another city. She used her black African husband as a means to reach her handsome Indian boyfriend in America. Whatever the case, the Arab sugar daddy Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed sent to the foreign student Babikir Al-Awar 2 visas and 2 tickets for his beautiful and sexy Indian maid Rehana Khan and to her cute daughter Hifat Khan to travel with her, along with a letter promising to employ him as his official translator once he finished his studies at the University of Bombay after a half year. He also sent 15,000 rupees and 500 US dollars. He ordered Babikir to help the maid Rehana Khan prepare her travel papers, give her the other 10,000 rupees and 500 US dollars as well, and keep the remaining 5,000 rupees for himself. Before he meets Rehana to give her her share of the Indian and American money, the one-eyed Babikir searches for his ugly Indian girlfriend Jamila Malik and asks her on a date because he has some particularly important good news to share with her. The next day, after filling her stomach with food, sweets, tea, coffee, and anything else she wanted to eat, the crazy Habib revealed the good news to his ugly Habibti and showed her the promised employment letter. Then he got down on his knees and asked her to marry him. Jamila's selfish ambitions quickly took into account the pros and cons and agreed to marry him if certain conditions were met, namely that he reach the promised land first, then return after a year and marry her, and only after that she would go with him to the land of the rich Arabs, which is overflowing with money and gold. But she said that she would not allow him to consummate his marriage to her until they arrived together as bride and groom first to the rich kingdom of Arabia. She made her condition very clear that there would be no sex between them as husband and wife until they reached the gates of heaven in Saudi, in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia. In plain words, she said to him, he will not be allowed to fuck her by inserting his black penis into her red virginal pussy and breaking her hymen, except in the kingdom of Tartarus. However, the crazy lover, one-eyed Babikir, a so-called accursed Negro, accepted these unfair demands from his ugly Indian beauty, Jamila Malik. For him, it was Saturday evening when the lover Babikir Hussein Osama received Jamila Malik's promise of marriage. After that, he went to meet the lovely maid Rehana Khan and handed the Indian and foreign money sent to her by her sugar daddy, the wealthy business tycoon Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, in addition to 2 visas and tickets for her and her daughter Hifat to travel abroad. The foreign student Babikir fears that someone in the apartment where he lives will steal these important documents and money from his bag in his room while he is sleeping or absent. On that day, his Sudanese roommates are having a party and many foreign boys and girls have been invited. His friends will celebrate the end of their exams, which ended on Friday. Each of them had invited his girlfriend and her friends. Every lover will bring her boyfriend, and there will be a wild and noisy gathering of young foreign students who will lose control of themselves and indulge in excessive drinking of alcohol, dancing, and orgies. Basically, it was the fear of getting drunk and losing all the travel papers and important documents of the maid and her daughter that led Babikir to finally decide to give these expensive items to Rehana Khan, along with her share of Indian rupees and US dollars. After that, he promised her that as soon as the two passports arrived at his apartment address, he would come and deliver them to her. He added that her Arab sponsor had already booked their flight and informed her of the date and time of their flight from India to Saudi Arabia. Handing over the important travel papers he received from her sugar daddy to Rehana and her daughter Ifat, relieved Babikir of heavy responsibility in this regard and left him free to enjoy the party with his friends. The only person at the party who would be without a girlfriend would be him. The Sudanese lover Babikir Al-Awar had mentioned the party to his ugly Indian girlfriend Jamila and that he would like her to attend, but she told him that she was not the kind of a bad Muslima girl who goes out to party with someone who is not her legal Muslim husband. Therefore, the black one-eyed lover apologized to his morally good girlfriend and promised her that he would never ask her to come to the apartment where he lived again because she was not his legal Muslim wife yet. After his ugly Indian sweetheart, Jamila, rejected the invitation to attend the end of exams party, a Sudanese student went to the liquor store, bought one bottle of black label whiskey, and then returned it to the apartment to have some fun with other foreign students.